Every once in a while, something comes into the shop that just stops you in your tracks. It's not about the money, it's about the story. And let me tell you, there's no story quite like the Australian 1930 penny. People hear 1930 penny, and they might think of the American Lincoln cent. But the real legend, the one that makes collectors' hearts race, comes from down under. This isn't just a coin, it's a piece of history that officially was never supposed to be made. It's the ultimate treasure because its very existence is a fluke, a happy accident born from economic chaos and a little bit of mystery. It's one of the rarest and most famous coins in the entire British Commonwealth. So, why is this penny so famous? It all goes back to the Great Depression. In 1930, the world was in financial ruin. Australia was hit hard. People weren't spending money, so the government didn't need to make more coins. Simple as that. The Melbourne Mint got the order. No new pennies for 1930. They were supposed to halt production entirely. But here's where it gets interesting. A few, and I mean a very small number, somehow slipped through the cracks. No one knows for sure how many were made, but estimates range from 1,500 to maybe 3,000. That's nothing in the world of coin minting. It's a ghost coin. Think about it. The United States Mint makes billions of pennies every single year. Finding a coin with a mintage of just a few thousand is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of Texas. For years, nobody even knew these pennies existed. They just silently went into circulation, mixed in with millions of other pennies from different years. People used them to buy bread or newspapers, completely unaware they were holding a small fortune in their hand. It wasn't until the 1940s that collectors started noticing that finding a penny dated 1930 was nearly impossible. That's when the whispers started, and the legend of the 1930 penny was born. The coin itself is a classic piece of British Commonwealth design. On one side, you have the crowned bust of King George V, facing left. This was the standard for all Australian coins at the time. The other side, the reverse, features the simple word, 1 penny inside a circle, with the words, Commonwealth of Australia surrounding it. And right at the bottom, the crucial date, 1930. It's a beautiful, simple bronze coin. But it's that date that changes everything. It turns a simple piece of copper into a numismatic superstar, a symbol of rarity that every serious collector dreams of owning. It's the story, the scarcity, and the history all wrapped up in one small coin. So how did these ghost coins get made? That's the million-dollar question, and there are a few theories. The most popular story, and the one I find most believable, involves a little bit of accidental minting. See, the mints used master dies to create the coin presses. The theory goes that a 1930 master die was accidentally used to strike a small batch of pennies. It might have been to test the machinery, or maybe it was just a mistake made by a mint worker. They might have needed to press a few coins to align the dies for a future run, and just grabbed the wrong one. With no official order, these coins were never meant to leave the building. But they did. Some people think a few enterprising mint employees might have struck them on the sly, knowing that a coin with no official mintage could one day be valuable. It's a romantic idea, but it's hard to prove. Another theory is that the 1930 dies were used to press coins for a collector's set or a museum display. This was a common practice. The mint would sometimes create specimen strikes for archival purposes. It's possible that a few of these specimen coins somehow got mixed in with the regular circulation coins and escaped into the wild. Whatever the true story is, the result is the same. A major rarity was unleashed. Once the coins were out, they disappeared. For over a decade, they circulated completely unnoticed. Imagine how many were lost, damaged, or simply worn down to the point where the date was unreadable. The number of surviving 1930 pennies is probably much lower than the original mintage. It wasn't until the mid-1940s that the coin collecting community caught on. A numismatist published a list of Australian pennies and left a blank space for 1930, noting that none were known to exist. That was like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Collectors started hunting, and slowly, reports of found 1930 pennies began to trickle in. This hunt is what built the legend. Newspapers started running stories about the king of Australian coins. People searched through their change jars, their grandparents' old coin boxes, everywhere. It was a national treasure hunt. Every coin collector in Australia dreamed of finding one. The demand skyrocketed, and the price went with it. A coin that was once worth just a single penny became worth hundreds, then thousands of pounds. It became more than a coin. It was a lottery ticket that could be hiding in plain sight. This mystery of its origin and the thrill of the hunt are what make it so compelling. You never know what's out there. The design of the 1930 penny is pretty straightforward, but for collectors, the tiny details are everything. As I mentioned, the obverse shows King George V. This portrait was designed by Sir Bertram McKennell, an Australian sculptor. On the reverse, you've got the text-based design. It's not flashy like some American coins, but that's part of its charm. The real magic for experts, though, is in the die markers. Because the coins were likely made in an unofficial capacity, there are subtle imperfections and variations between them. For example, some coins have a slightly broken A in Australia, while others have different die clashes or alignment issues. These tiny flaws are like fingerprints, helping experts authenticate a real 1930 penny from a fake. And you better believe there are fakes out there. When a coin gets this valuable, the forgers come out of the woodwork. The most common fakes are altered date coins. A counterfeiter will take a common penny, like a 1931 or 1932, and carefully resculpt the last digit into a zero. They might also try to make a cast counterfeit, pouring molten metal into a mold made from a real coin. But a pro can spot these fakes. We look at the weight, the metal composition, and the fine details of the strike. A real 1930 penny has a certain look, a certain feel. The wear pattern also tells a story. We've seen them all come through the pawn shop door. One of the most famous stories involves a schoolboy in the 1950s who found a 1930 penny in his change. He knew enough about coins to realize what he had. He held on to it, and years later, that coin was his ticket to buying his first house. That's the kind of story that fuels the fire for treasure hunters. It gives people hope that they, too, could stumble upon a life-changing find. These tales, passed down through generations, have cemented the 1930 penny's place in Australian folklore. It's the ultimate underdog story, a worthless coin that becomes a priceless treasure. The condition of the coin is everything when it comes to value. Most of the 1930 pennies that have been found are heavily worn. They spent years, even decades, in circulation. A coin in good or very good condition is still worth a fortune, easily fetching tens of thousands of dollars. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, one that never got spent and retains its original mint luster, well, that's the Holy Grail. There are only a handful of these pristine examples known to exist. These are the coins that break auction records and get their own headlines. They are museum pieces, perfect snapshots of a coin that was never meant to be. The rise of the 1930 penny to legendary status happened gradually, then all at once. The initial scarcity in the 1940s created the buzz. The newspaper stories and anecdotal finds in the 50s and 60s built the myth. By the time of Australia's currency decimalisation in 1966, when pounds, shillings, and pence were phased out, the 1930 penny was already the most famous coin in the country. People were frantically searching their old penny jars before turning them into the bank. This national search only uncovered a few more, making the known examples even more desirable. The coin became a symbol of a bygone era and a tangible link to the struggles of the Great Depression. Today, in 2025, the legend is stronger than ever. The 1930 penny is one of the world's great numismatic rarities. When one comes up for auction, it's a major event that attracts collectors from all over the globe, including here in America. Prices have climbed steadily. A decent, circulated example can sell for $30,000 to $50,000. A top-quality certified specimen can go for hundreds of thousands. And the absolute best of the best? We're talking over $1 million. One of the finest known examples, a proof strike that was specially made for a collector, sold for over 1.15 million Australian dollars. That's why we call it the $1 million penny. What makes it so exciting for people today? It's the ultimate treasure hunting story. It's not some ancient artifact buried in a tomb. It's a coin that could have been in your pocket. It represents the idea that extraordinary value can be hidden in the most ordinary of places. For Americans who love tales of rare finds, like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle or the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, the story of the 1930 penny fits right in. It's a tale of government error, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. It proves that history isn't just in books. Sometimes it's jangling in your pocket. So, the next time you're looking through old coins, keep your eyes peeled. You probably won't find an Australian 1930 penny in a jar in Las Vegas, but the story is a powerful reminder. It reminds us to look closer, to learn the history behind the things we see every day. Because you never know what kind of story an object has to tell. And in the world of collecting, the story is what matters most. The 1930 penny isn't just a piece of metal, it's a legend. And that's something you can't put a price on. Well, you can, and it's a lot, but you get what I mean.